All right, yesterday, we spoke with a doctor in Gaza, right? Had the communications issue, held up the phone, right? Talking about the realities of the war. The hospitals are just desperate. Amputations without the right painkillers or anesthesia, maggots in wounds, things that could be made better. Water, clothing. This can be fixed. The UN Security Council approved a resolution to let in more humanitarian aid into Gaza. Vote was 13-0. The United States and Russia abstained from the vote. The UN Secretary General slammed Israel for creating obstacles to getting the aid through. Listen.
The real problem is that the way Israel is conducting this offensive is creating massive obstacles to the distribution of humanitarian aid inside Gaza. And nothing can justify the continued fire of rockets from Gaza at civilian targets in Israel, or the use of civilians as human shields. But at the same time, these violations of international humanitarian law can never justify the collective punishment of the Palestinian people, and they do not free Israel from its own obligations under international law.
All right, let's bring in the acting Israeli Consul General in New York, Aviv Ezra. It is good to see you, sir. Thank you for taking the opportunity.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
So how do you deal with what is at a minimum optics and in the main increasingly fair criticism that the need for humanitarian aid is overwhelming and nobody should want that more than Israel because it will prove to people what you keep saying, which is you're not trying to kill people that you don't have to get to Hamas. Why not allow more aid in?
100%. Israel's focus was always to make a differentiation between the Hamas militants and terrorists and between the population. And we actually encourage the ongoing and incoming convoys of humanitarian aid. When it comes to water, when it comes to food, when it comes to medical assistance, we have allowed convoys of thousands of trucks. Until today, about 5,500 trucks. Of course, there were two points that need to be made here. In consultation with America, we made sure that there will be a mechanism that aid will not go to Hamas, but rather will go to the innocent civilians. And we know that Hamas continuously steals that aid. And the second point is to make sure that... Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Make your second point, please. Consul General,
just making sure that Hamas is not using these humanitarian aids to smuggle additional arms, and that's why we need to do a screening. But Israel, as you mentioned, is totally in favor of the incoming humanitarian aid. And as you said, that you mentioned that Chris, that T-shirt, I lie because it's my right. I mean, there are people that could wear those shirts in what they say.
True. However, two things can be true at once. Hamas is a terroristic organization. They steal stuff from the people who need it, and they lie. And Israel has allowed too little aid, and the ratio of bombing and to the humanitarian urgencies it's creating, really, you guys should be letting more in, even if there's risk with it, because it's increasingly turning people against you. I mean, to have the UN chief, Guterres, there saying you're causing yourself your own problems, I know you guys are thinking about this. I know you're trying to figure out the balance. But really, humanitarian aid, isn't that the saving grace? And as long as people can say Israel's allowing too little and too slowly, you lose.
You had me at hello, you had me at shalom. We are in favor of humanitarian aid going into Gaza in that condition that make sure that Hamas does not steal it. 100%.
But see, the condition, you can't make that. You can't do that, though, Ezra. That's the problem, Aviv, is that you're not going to be able to make it so that Hamas can't. But you would be able to relieve yourself of being the bad guy in the situation. Here's all the aid. It's all going through. If it doesn't get through, you know it's not us. You know what I'm saying? And then it wouldn't be you slowing it up. It wouldn't be you making decisions about what goes and what doesn't.
100%. And I want to say that Guterres, the Secretary General, is the same Secretary General that didn't find the time to even condemn the October 7th events. And we know that we're talking about, war crimes and crimes against humanity that until today, the UN Security Council and the Secretary himself should come forward and first and foremost condemn these humanitarian atrocities against Israel. And this is the same Secretary General.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.